Now this is the edge that I've been striving for here. No need to plane that. So that method of cutting with the knife walls around 3 sides, it really works good for me, especially turning it up on end. It cuts faster, I get a nice square edge, just changed everything. But still we've got a couple saw lines in there, you can see. So I'll just take the number 4 planer and just knock these out here real quick. So that's it, the 2 finished tabletops. A lot of effort goes into those, 6 feet long. So today we're faced with one of the most important decisions that we're going to have to make on our bench, and that is how tall to make it. Bench height is really determined on what you're doing. Are you doing fine detailed work, building small things like jewelry boxes or small birdhouses, or are you building cabinet boxes, which can be big, 36 inch or so? That will determine the height. So having a bench that's all around, that's kind of good for everything is what we're striving for, because I can't have multiple benches. My shop's just not tall enough. So the bench that I've worked on here for years is 36 inches. That's this little table. And I found that to be kind of low, kind of small. And when I'm doing detailed projects, I'm always looking for a bar stool to sit on because it gets me closer to the work. It's just been a little bit too short. Most conventional thought, wisdom, I guess, would be about 38 inches for a basic carpenter's bench. That's an average height man of about 5'11". That, even for me, I think is a little bit low. I'm 6'4", so I don't want to bend over at all. So I'm going to raise mine up to I'm going to try about 40 inches. So I've stacked up some 2x6s here, and just to get a feel of it, what would it feel like to plane on this height? You know, and this, if this being the material, if I take this down, this puts me about the 38 inch. Does that feel better? So this here, let's see what we have here. This is at, that's at 39. 39, and then if I was planing a piece of 2x on there, it would still be, I can still get over on it. So I'm going to go with 40 inches, a 40-inch leg. So we've determined we want a 40-inch finish height. We've got to subtract the thickness of our bench and this, what do you call it? The piece that will sit on top of the leg here. We have 6 1/4. So let's just say 6 inches. That'll give us a little bit to plane off the top. And so we'll subtract 6 inches from the 40, and that'll give us the height of our legs. So to determine our leg height, we'll subtract that 6 inches from the 40 overall, and that gives us 34 inches. So what we'll cut our 4 legs at are exactly 34 inches. So this is the factory end, and sometimes they're square, sometimes they're not. So just double check that. This one here is perfectly square, so we can use that for one finished end, and we'll go cut the other end. You know you've got a good woman when she brings you breakfast in the wood shop. Huh? What do we got here, Jack?
English muffins, we have apples, we have oranges, we have canned peaches, and you have some of Mama's shake and some orange juice.
So with practice and a knife wall on 3 sides, I've been able to cut square on these 4x6s. So it just has been about practice and kind of learning the technique, but I'm real happy with the way things are going now. So I've got 3 legs cut, and this is the last piece. There's about a 8-inch piece of waste on it. So on this knife wall, I'm being very careful, just putting a little tiny bevel on there, because this will be part of the leg, and this will be on the bottom, and I'll have the corners knocked off. So if the bench moves around or it gets kicked, it won't break a chunk off those unsupported fibers. I'll make it, probably not explaining it very well, but I'll make it clear here in a little bit. Just a little bevel on there that we'll clean up with our plane. But that way, I'm just making one cut is working for both legs. I don't have to cut. I cut half as many times. So the 12-foot 4x6 works really good for the legs because this is all there is left. That's all the waste. So with the 4 legs cut and the tops cut, now I'm got the 4 cross pieces that will go between the leg posts. These will be the portions that have the we'll cut the tenons in. So having much better success with the cutting straight, and it's been just a matter of practice and taking the time to put these defined knife walls in, and relaxing and starting the saw off straight, and it just just takes practice. That's just all it does. Just takes practice. When doing all this cutting by hand, I've rapidly learned clamp everything. Just it keeps stuff from falling on the ground. It keeps from making a mistake because something shifts on you. Having these jack clamps, these one-handed clamps, to me are invaluable. It's like having an extra set of hands. So I've been really fortunate that 2 times I went to pick up material at Home Depot. The stuff they had is really nice. Almost, some of it almost clear. So a couple of you ask, after using the chisels, if I was going to only buy one, which one would I recommend, what size, after using them? And I think where you're coming from is you want to get them a few at a time. Maybe you can only afford to get one and you want to get started and then get the other ones later. I get that for sure. The 3/4 is the one that that's the only one I've used on here. And I haven't really laid out the mortises yet, but I think I'll be cutting the mortises 3/4 as well. Either that or 1 inch. I'll have to look and see. But I think you could do this whole thing pretty much with a 3/4 chisel. So here you see on the end of my board, even though it is square, it's got a crack starting in there. So I come up in front of that a 1/2 inch or so. I don't want that continuing on, so we'll cut that off, and then we'll lay out from here. I really do marvel at the finish that the sharp planer blade leaves. I mean, that right there, it doesn't even need sanding. That's just cut with the planer blade. It's just beautiful. Look at that wood. Isn't it beautiful? Just straight grained and not a knot in it. Beautiful. So here's a real good example where you can really see the contrast. You see all those dark spots kind of polka dotted? That's the dips that have been caused by the machine at the sawmill. And the hand plane you'll see here. I've got it set real light, so I'm not taking too much. Because those gouges are pretty deep. Look at that. What a difference, huh? Sometimes you'll see, or you'll notice that you're going against the grain and it'll want to tear out on you. Just flip it around and just come from the other direction. Here's that bit of wane that we saw on those legs, and that's not a big deal. I don't care about that. We're working with wood. Everything doesn't have to be shiny and new, but we've got to see a lot of fibers that are loose there and will snag and catch and tear out. So we'll just carefully take our draw knife and just cut that down, cut those fibers down until we get into some nice solid wood. laying out our legs, we'll just turn this to the inside. I continue to be surprised how much work you can accomplish with so few tools. Growing up in the modern construction trade where you got a whole truck full of power tools and real specialized stuff for everything, yeah, you can get better production and it's faster, but it's not a very fun job. It's not a very good experience. What do we have here? Everything that I've used here up to the point where we're at. You could even take away the draw knife. You wouldn't have needed that at all. You could have simply accomplished what I did with that wane with that 3/4 inch chisel. If you just got just a standard mallet, you know, when you're beating on your chisel, you don't want to use a metal hammer. You want to either go wood to wood or something, a softer hammer. We've got a plane, a combination square tape measure, a couple clamps, pencil and a knife, and a saw. And there's a couple things more we'll add, but not a great deal. It would be, you could put those tools right there in a small toolbox, and you could get a good portion, almost all of this bench done with just what you see here in front of you. So here's how the legs are going to lay out. There's 5 pieces, 10 pieces total for both legs. We've got our main legs here, and then we've got the top piece that the bench will actually sit on. And then we have these cross pieces here, which will be, we'll cut tenons into these. One will go here, and the second one will go here somewhere, wherever we determine that will be. I've got all of this stuff hand planed down and squared. We've got to square the edges, and then we're going to start laying out and chopping the mortises into these. The mortises are the open part, the female portion, and then the tenons will be cut on these, and they'll go all the way through. We'll do this in the craftsman style, where they come through all the way and stick beyond about 1/8 of an inch with a little chamfer on the end. It looks really nice. It looks kind of old-fashioned. And so let's square these edges with the plane, and then we'll lay out and start chopping the mortises. So here are the 2 legs we're going to start with. So before we do anything, we want to make sure that we're absolutely dead square on the bottom of these, that we're a true 90 degrees off the side. And this one here is near perfect. Don't need to do a thing with that one. This one, on the other hand, we can see right here that we've got a little bit, kind of a bad spot where the sawing was done. And we can see here, there's our knife line. I deviated a little bit right there. So that's all right. But we can check here and see, indeed we do need to take that off. So let's flip that over and clamp it down. And then we'll just plane that down real quick, check it for square, and then we'll be ready to chop some mortises. There, we're getting real close there. Now again, just a reminder, you don't want to plane down, you don't want your blade running down there. It'll tear out those unsupported fibers right there, so hold back. If you need to plane there, flip the board over, or come up from the bottom. Boy, there's motivation to cut straight. That's not very fun doing that, but it works. This was the worst cut that I'd made. I'm getting pretty good with the handsaw now, cutting real straight. But this one here, I did deviate a little bit. But right here we're good. Just to shave that top off there, and it looks good here. And we're perfectly square all the way down. We don't want to start with a crooked leg. If we measure this, see how we came out. We're at 34 inches on the nose. So the mortise we're going to chop into this post is going to be called a haunched mortise. I haven't done one before. I'll show you. We'll go into that in detail here, but I'm going to add a couple new tools here that I'll be using for this. First off, this is a gauge here for scribing and helping with layout. You can see here that it's got 2 pins on one side and 1 pin on the other. I've never really used this much. I bought this years ago. I actually didn't really know what it was for when I bought it. I just knew it was a carpentry tool and I might need it someday. And, well, here we are. So we'll use that. And also, I'm going to introduce a little bit heavier hammer. The small hammer that I was using before, the wood mallet, it just doesn't have the weight for chopping mortises. I like a little bit heavier hammer. So I got this one off Amazon here. It's 16-ounce Stanley. It's got soft ends on it there, so it's not going to destroy the wood on my chisel. And I like it. I like to have a heavy hammer with some weight behind it. It's like it's only 14, 15 bucks or something like that. So it was a good deal, a good hammer. All right, so let's start our layout. So first thing we need to do is this piece here is going to go in and stick out the other side. This will be the tenon, this will be the mortise. The mortise, again, is the female portion. So we'll use this pin gauge, the single side here. You just loosen this up here. And we'll use this to help speed up our layout so we can transfer all of our lines. So I'm going to measure to the outside of this 2x. Right there. I'll tighten it and I'll double check it. Oh, it slipped on me a little bit. This is not a real good one. I think it's a overseas unit. Alright, looks pretty good. So you can see there, if I'm up against the side, that it's just coming right, it's just measuring the exact width of what this tenon will be.
If you were thinking to yourself while watching this video that it seemed a bit conjointed, you would be correct. I lost a lot of footage. I don't know why. I'm in the hands of engineers with these cameras, so it just didn't record. But I put together what I had, did the best I could. So, no reason to fret because the good stuff is coming up. I'm actually cutting mortises now, and that will be coming up in what, part 8? Yeah, so this is the fun stuff. We will, well, you'll see. Thank you for watching, and well, I've got some, thank you for watching. Man, it's a little early, 5:30 in the morning. I've been up since 2. I don't know why I've been getting up so early lately, but it is a nice time to get up and make videos. But I've got some videos for you. Top left is if you would like to restore your own carpentry chisel. I bought one off of eBay, a little keen cutter, and made a handle, and that was a fun project. Top right is the best YouTube unboxing in the history of YouTube. You're not going to want to miss that. Bottom left, Fresh Pea in the Family and myself went blueberry picking. We picked, well, I don't know how many, but we have a big freezer and it has 2 things in it. One is beef and the second is blueberries, and there's not room for anything in there. And then bottom right is making the handle for my beloved hand-forged axe room. So, if you enjoyed these videos, please take a moment, click the thumbs up, and we'll see you guys next time when we're chopping mortises.